Christmas is right around the corner, but unfortunately, I've been a bit of a naughty boy this year, and so I don't think Santa Claus is going to bring me the copy of Fantastic Four number 5, first appearance of Doctor Doom that I wrote in my letter to him. But I do have a wife and some parents and some kids who think a little bit of me. And so I think despite my naughtiness, I might get a few things for Christmas this year. And so I wanted to share with you the top 5 comic related things that I have on my Christmas wish list. At number 5, I would like a copy of comic book CPR by Michael Sorensen, which is basically an introduction and a how-to guide of comic book pressing. Now, pressing my own books is something that I've been considering for a couple of years now, but I've yet to bite the bullet for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm just afraid that I'll damage my books. Second, even if I don't damage them, I don't know if I could do as good of a job as sending them off to someone who does it professionally. But at the same time, pressing my own books would save me a lot of money, and certainly I would be willing to give more attention to my books than anyone. And so I've been weighing the pros and cons for a while. And I think if I got this book, then I would obviously be able to understand the process a little bit more, and then maybe experiment with some books that aren't worth very much, and really kind of determine if pressing my own books is for me, or if I could continue to send them off to professionals. At number 4, I would like an annual subscription to GP Analysis, better known as GPA, which most consider to provide the best analysis of the current fair market value of graded comic books. And it does this by accumulating information from a ton of sources like eBay and the major auction houses to report things like the latest sales of literally, I think, every graded comic book that's out there, and then 30-day averages, a price history. It'll show you where current listings are at so you can see what is unsold. And so as I am starting to sell more graded comic books, I think this could be a really helpful tool in helping me to price them correctly, because obviously I don't want to price them too high because they'll never sell. But on the other hand, obviously don't want to price them too low and leave money on the table. And as I'm selling more graded comic books, even if it makes a difference of $10 a month, then this would pay for itself. At number 3, I would like a copy of Devil Take the Hindmost by Edward Chancellor. And this is a book that provides a history of financial speculation. And I actually checked it out from my library a couple of months ago, but didn't finish it all. And so I'd like my own copy so that obviously I can get through it, but also that I can continue to use it as a resource, because it really talks about obviously the big picture of financial speculation in different markets. For example, it opens up by talking about the tulip mania craze that happened in the Dutch Republic in the 1600s. And if you don't know anything about it, just Google tulip mania. But it's crazy, in the 1600s, people were paying insane amounts for tulips because they some were more rare than others, and so of course they commanded the high prices. And then obviously, like any speculation, it led to a bubble that collapsed, and people were left losing their hind. I guess the devil took their butts through their losses. And of course, there's a lot of parallels between those types of markets and comics, where a lot of us love to speculate, and you certainly can make money in speculation, but you can also get burnt. And so studying this history has helped me kind of think about, okay, what type of comics do I want to be speculating on? When do I need to consider moving my comics so I don't get stuck left holding the bag? I mean, these are all questions that all of us should be asking if you are spending any significant amount of money on comics. If you're just buying dollar bin books, then obviously it doesn't really matter nearly as much. But if you're putting dozens, hundreds, thousands, for some of you maybe tens of thousands or more dollars into comics, then it's important to really look at history of collectible markets and just speculative markets and see what lessons we can learn from them. And I think that book does a great job of doing that. Now, before I get to the last 2 items on my wish list, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, of course, I'd appreciate it if you consider doing so now. All right, well, of course, I'm in this hobby because I love reading comic books. So at number 2, I would like an annual subscription to Marvel Unlimited. And this is actually something that I've gotten for 3 or 4 Christmases in a row now. And if you're not familiar with this subscription service, it basically provides almost the whole catalog of Marvel comics to a subscriber digitally. And so I'm able to read tons of comics at a very affordable rate. And obviously I don't own them, they're just digital. Of course, we all love to touch and hold and look at physical media as well. And so, yeah, it's not a replacement for it, but I can't buy all the comics that I want to read. I don't have that kind of money, nor do I have the storage space. And so this is a great way to still read a ton of material and enjoy the hobby while doing it affordably and, again, saving space. And that brings me to number 1, which is getting some actual physical, tangible comics that I can hold and look at and add to my collection. Now, again, I don't think I'm going to get that Fantastic Four number 5, but there are some more affordable comics that I'm looking for that I think maybe I might be getting. So first of all, probably the most affordable is Marvel Tales number 193, because I am trying to collect all of the 25th anniversary bordered Marvel comics, and I've gotten way through that. And I'm probably about 4/5 through that goal, but this is the one Spider-Man cover that I don't have yet. And of course, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and so this is next up on my list. Going up in a little bit of price, I'm in the process of trying to complete the whole run of the original Marvel Transformers series, and I only have 5 issues left, which are issues 65, 70, 71, 78, and 79. So I'm getting super close, and if I just got 1 or 2 of those, I would be pretty happy. And finally, we'll jump up a level, and this would certainly be, the most expensive out of these comics, but affordable, if someone's looking to get me a nice present. And that would be a high-grade copy of 1986's Punisher number 1, because I love collecting the first issue of characters' first solo series, and the Punisher is the character I love the most, where I don't yet have the number 1 issue in their solo series. Unless you're talking about maybe Amazing Spider-Man number 1. But like Fantastic Four number 5, I don't think that's coming in my stocking this year. But Punisher number 1 could. And so I would love to have that book. Now, what about you? What is on your Christmas wish list? Whether it's comic related or not. I'd really love to hear. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen to my comic wish list. Fingers crossed I get some of these things. I appreciate you watching. Like the video. Again, subscribe if you haven't. And as always, I look forward to the next one.